Hi there, this is Matt with State of Flux, here with a review for Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. This is a movie that I've been hearing quite a bit about through like film Twitter and various things like that, and it seemed to be a film that was somewhat divisive. It has its absolute defenders that absolutely love the hell out of the movie, and then it has people that were much softer to like straight up not liking the movie. I kind of landed there. This is a movie laced with ideas, but is ill on execution. It's kind of a whodunit in the same vein of Scream, or at least advertised as such, or approaches the story as such. Whereas Scream satirized the horror genre, this is satirizing the socially conscious Gen Z. And my problem with the movie is that, well, I'm on board with the satirization of a generation of people. I feel like the satire comes from a mean-spirited place, and a particularly unhelpful place. And some of the assertions this film makes kind of land in a place of ignorance and are far more harmful than they are helpful. So much so that I don't know what the movie is ultimately trying to say with its satire. It offers up this satire, but it offers nothing to change it or fix it or help it or nurture it or anything. And it all kind of happens in a single formative scene towards the end of the movie. I was watching the movie throughout the first little bit, and I was thinking, like, it's essentially pointedly vapid. Until the socially conscious nature of language of these characters and how they're interacting with each other kind of spoils itself in this one scene between four characters who are all essentially accusing one another of being the villain. And that was the scene that kind of broke it for me, because the satire stopped being satire, it started being mean-spirited, unhelpful, and ultimately misguided. And this is something that maybe I'll return to in a year's time and kind of soften on, but as stated now, I think ultimately where I land on it is that the satire isn't well-meaning, and it is destructive to the socially conscious mind, which is not helpful at the end of the day. I think it's good to be socially conscious of those around you, and using these trigger words, for want of a better term, and bandying them about in this one formative scene in the that kind of kicks off the final act of the movie, really kind of like made me anguish for the rest of the film. I will say for it that it has a fantastic final scene, and I feel like a lot of the defenders of this film who do buy into the humor and buy into the characters much more so than I did are probably really letting that last moment really stick with them and gel. The performances in this movie are pretty fantastic across the board. Everybody is great. They just didn't have a lot to work with, and I don't know that they put enough thought into what they were saying with this satire. And when you don't take the time to put the thought into the satire that you are satirizing, you can put something into the world that I think is ultimately unhelpful, is not going to pass along any meaningful meaning behind any of it. And people could take the misguided ideals of this film and run with them in negative ways. And that's something that slightly concerns me. But I kind of get where some people might get on board with it because of that last scene. It just didn't work for me. That one scene I'm talking about, the formative scene, is so ugly that I just can't do it. However, that is the best acted scene of the entire film, I will say that. But anyway, this wasn't my cup of tea. I'd give it probably generously 2 stars out of 4. Yeah, there you have it. If you did like Bodies, 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 let me know what you liked about it. Did the satire work for you? I talked to one friend who didn't really buy into the satire at all, just saw it as like a dumb movie where dumb things happen and dumb people are doing dumb things, and it really worked for him. And maybe that's just me reading into the text, but I think the text is there and designed to be there as such. I just think it's misguided. So that's where I land. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Peace.